Congratulations, you finally did it. You fulfilled your lifelong dream of home ownership. You get the keys, you go through the front door, you start imagining all the things that could be in your wonderful empty house, and then all of a sudden, that feeling of dread sets in, and you ask yourself, now what? Well, today we're going to answer that very question. I'm going to guide you through the skill of home ownership, and that's exactly what it is, a skill, and it can be taught. We're going to go over various things that you need to know how to find in your home, various maintenance items that you need to do throughout the year, because Spokane is a 4-season climate, and then at the end we're going to go over some resources for you in case you get in trouble, things that you can reach out to just for being a resident of the state of Washington. Be sure to stick around because at the end I got a little bonus tidbit for you that finally answers the question, why are there so many pink bathrooms in Spokane? All that and more, and hopefully you're excited, I'm excited, so let's get to it. So today we're going to go over the Spokane Home Ownership Guide. This is a video resource that I wanted to make for you guys to cover the various items that you need to know in order to take care of the #1 asset that you will own in your entire lifetime. This is a passion project for me, and I wanted to make sure that you guys are well equipped, mainly learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to deal with some of the major setbacks that I had to learn the absolute hard way. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get into some of the things that you need to be able to find in your home in case something goes wrong. These are things that are often hidden, so be sure to look for them, locate them, and note their location ahead of time so when an emergency does occur, you'll be able to get to these things quickly and efficiently. But before we do that, if I can just ask you guys a quick favor real quick, if you can just go ahead and hit that sub button below, it really helps the growing channel out and we appreciate it beyond words. All right, now enough of that. Let's get back on track with the first item right now. The water shutoffs. Water is the #1 enemy to your home. You want to make sure that you can control it in as many ways as possible. So be sure to locate that main water shutoff in case an emergency happens or if you're doing some light plumbing around the house. And that's usually located in a basement or a garage somewhere. But you want to make sure that you locate that item, what panel it's behind, and then what direction is on and off. And just give it a little test thing right when you move in, and then you won't have to worry about it. One thing to note is most smaller items in the house, like toilets for example, will have their own independent shutoff, so it might not be a requirement to do a whole main water shutoff for the entire home, but various projects like even putting in a sprinkler system could require you to know this information. Sewer access. You're going to want to know where your main sewer access drain is. This is so that plumbers can inspect the sewer line going from your home. Now this is usually located in a basement or outside, oftentimes covered in grass in the yard that you forget about, and you want to make sure that you can locate that so that you can direct professionals to that area. Sometimes it's also indicated by an S in the sidewalk, which will show a straight line of the sewer from the sewer line in the street all the way to your home. And just know that some of the older homes that are not brought up to modern plumbing codes may not have a sewer access drain that is readily accessible. Your hot water heater. This is one of those things that you want to not only know where your hot water heater is, but whether or not it's a tankless or a tank, gas or electric. This is actually very important information for you to know in case of various situations occur. For example, oftentimes what you'll have with a gas heater is, you'll have the city run out of electricity, but your gas system will still work. So you'll actually be able to still run hot water within your home, which could help you in case of an emergency. Not only that, when I moved into my home, what I found is when we ran our hands under the hot water turned all the way up, it was absolutely scalding, and I had to locate my hot water tank to turn the home water temperature down so that it was no longer dangerous. Your electrical panels. Now, most homes have at least one. In fact, I'm pretty sure all homes have at least one, but there may be more on the property. You're going to want to know which each one of these is at, mainly in case you want to do electrical work on your home, and or if you flip a breaker, you want to be able to find the appropriate box so that you can turn that area of your electricity back on. Gas meter and gas shutoffs. This is one of those things that's usually located on the outside of your home, and then usually the shutoff is near it, and then normally requires a wrench tool. With that being said, if you're ever in a situation where you need to shut off your main gas line in an emergency type situation, you're just better off removing yourself from the home and calling 911. Your attic access. This is important in case you have a leak in the roof or you need to add additional insulation or sometimes wire speakers and surround sound to your home. You want to know where these access points are. There's almost always at least one, but sometimes multiple, especially in larger homes or homes with additions into them. You just want to be able to locate where they're at and to make sure that you can actually access them. Your property lines. Knowing your property lines is one of those things that may or may not be that important to you, but what a situation that often occurs is people are trying to build a fence or something along their lines, and then they end up building it on the neighbor's property. And then the neighbor gets upset and asks you to remove it. So before you get ahead of yourself, you can just always go to the assessor's office and get a survey done if you want, so that you know the actual property lines of your property. One thing to note, it's not always where the fence is. So if you're rebuilding a fence, you may want to do a proper survey of the property so you know exactly where the boundary lines are. Next, we're going to go over our various maintenance items. These are going to be separated into the 4 seasons that we experience over here in Spokane. And it's really important for you to understand, especially if you don't come from a true 4-season climate. Spokane not only has all 4 seasons, but we experience them in the extreme. So spring is quintessential spring, winter it gets a lot of snow, and summers are incredibly hot, etc., etc., etc. We experience it all, and each one comes with its various maintenance items and things that you want to be able to look out for and get ahead of so that a problem doesn't occur. When I first moved into my home, our very first winter, of course, I didn't properly blow out my sprinklers, and then I popped one of the lines, and then we came home from an event to our front yard absolutely flooding into the street and having no idea what to do. Good thing I knew where that water shutoff was. I was able to shut everything off, locate the leak, and then make the appropriate repairs. But if I would have had a proper maintenance schedule, I would have known to do that in the season before so that I wouldn't have broken them in winter. So starting with our spring checklist, the things that you want to make note of and do and get around to are pressure wash your fences, your decks, your sidings, and your driveway. Spring is a perfect time to do a little bit of cleanup after the wet winter months and get your yard ready to go for the full summer. This is a great time to organize at least one of those closets in your home. Don't forget to dust those lampshades and those ceiling fans. They have probably been going in a certain direction all winter, and you want to make sure you clear that off before you blow dust all over your home. Spring is a great time to aerate and fertilize your lawn. While you're out there, be sure to reseed all the bare spots that came up over the winter. Make sure you flip those mattresses. If you got a mailbox outside, it's a great time to go out and do an inspection on that to see if anything needs to be repaired or repainted. Springtime is a great time to take advantage of reorganizing your home. Places that you normally don't go to, like your attic, things you normally don't mess with, like your entertainment center or your pantry. Spring is just a good opportunity to get in and tidy those things up. Springtime is exciting because you get to take a lot of your indoor plants and take them outside. Springtime is one of those times where you're going to get a lot of water runoff from all the snow accumulation over the winter. So it's a perfect opportunity if your home has a sump pump to go ahead and give that a test to make sure it's in working condition. Normally you can just simply do this by pouring a bucket of water in the reservoir. Springtime is an excellent time to go ahead and have your AC and your heating systems inspected by professionals. This is routine maintenance that needs to be done on your home, and spring is a great opportunity with the mild weather to go ahead and knock both those out. While we're talking about the AC, springtime is the time to go out and make sure you clear off all the debris that fell on your AC condenser outside. Make sure it's nice and clean, and then go ahead and repair and do any sort of maintenance that you need because summer is coming and it's going to be hot. You want to make sure you get up on the ladder and go up there and clean out all of your gutters and clear them of debris. And while you have that ladder out, don't be afraid of getting up on that roof and checking to see if any debris is up there that needs to be knocked off or any shingles need to be replaced or repaired before you get a water leak. Again, water is the enemy of our homes, and most of these items are going to be centered around keeping water at bay. Water's the enemy. We like things nice and dry. Springtime is an excellent opportunity to clean all of your window screens, any of the sliding tracks that the windows sit in, same with your sliding glass doors. Just go ahead and get that knocked out too. One of the most common forgotten maintenance items that is actually dangerous not to do is clean out your dryer dust vent. Springtime is the time to bring out a technician and have that thing blown out. If you got a garage door or gate hinges or even door hinges, now is a good time to re-lubricate any of those to make sure they don't get all squeaky on you. Now, springtime is going to come with a lot of garden preparation. So right now, right before you get into it, you want to make sure that you sharpen all your tools, check your lawnmower engine and make sure it is in good working order, and that all of your tools are up and running and ready to go. Bonus tip, don't forget that wheelbarrow wheel, which is oftentimes going to be flat. You don't want to find this out when you need it. Once you get those tools nice and ready to go ahead and start prepping all of those garden beds because the flowers are about to come. After you get those ceiling fans dusted off, go ahead and flip the switch and reverse their direction. You want to make sure it's counterclockwise, blowing air down. Moving right along the summer, right after you had a nice spring season, a lot of those maintenance items were in to prepare you for the summer warm months ahead. Well, you're in it now, so let's get into some of the various maintenance items that you need to be sure to take care of right now. Let's go ahead and start off by changing those filters out in our AC and our heating systems. Springtime comes with the blooming of trees, which means a lot of pollen. Seasonal allergies are very much a thing around here for a lot of people, and you want to make sure that you get those filters reset after the spring months so that you have nice, fresh, filtered air blowing through your home. Now that it's nice and warm outside, you're going to want to go ahead and get to that AC drain if it has one, and you're going to want to filter it out with a little bit of bleach and clean it out. We want to get all that bacteria and gunk out of there and keep all the systems nice, clean, and healthy. Now's a great time to go ahead and check your deck, various railings, your fences, anything like that for repairs and things that need to be replaced, and go ahead and let's just knock that out. The thing I get most excited about every single summer, it's time to go ahead and unpack that grill. Let's get it up and open, get it nice and clean, and make sure it's in working operating order because we all know it is a vital piece of summer equipment. While we're doing the various unpacking, let's go ahead and take the covers off of all of our outdoor furniture. Let's get those all swept, cleaned off, and let's go ahead and get them staged outside where they belong. You're probably done using your fireplace at this point, so let's go ahead and get your chimney inspected and cleaned if necessary. You don't want that fire hazard sticking around waiting to go up next year. Now that it's going to be warm and dry outside early in the summer before it gets too hot, you're going to want to go around and go ahead and scrape all those loose and peeling paint spots. You want to go ahead and get those reprimed and repainted to protect them from that sun damage that's going to come at them all summer long. Let's go ahead and clean all of that glass on your windows and your sliding doors inside and out. You want that nice and sparkly clean. You want to be able to take in your beautiful view and really enjoy the greatest season this town has to offer. Now that all your plants are starting to break the surface, you're going to want to go ahead and pull out all the weeds of all those garden beds and go ahead and add a little mulch so that it looks nice and tidy for you. Summer's a great time now that we're probably using cooler showers and the humidity in our bathrooms doesn't get quite as high, to go ahead and go over all those exhaust fans and clean all the dust and debris that accumulates on all of those things. I know if you look at yours, you can honestly probably tell yourself it could be a little bit cleaner, right? Right, so let's go ahead and take care of that right now. Now's the time to go through all the various concrete items on your property. I'm talking driveways, sidewalks, walkways, and even your foundation. We're going to want to be looking for cracks, anything that occurred from all the moisture in the winter months especially, and then we're going to want to go ahead and get those repaired with some sort of concrete repairing caulk or fill with concrete itself. Summertime is a great opportunity to go ahead and get into your garbage disposal system and your sink and do a deep clean of that. Why you want to do it now is because the fruit fly season is coming, and they like to live in our sinks and our drains and lay their eggs there and then emerge at night, go fly around our kitchen, and they absolutely bug us. You want those places so spick, so span, so sanitary that's actually hostile to fruit fly life. This is going to save you so much grief and so much headache. I I don't know from personal experience or anything, but I assume it would be nice to not have fruit flies. Let's go ahead and remove all of our heating and cooling grills or registers and get those nice and clean and replaced. Now's the time to go back into your garage and really think about the various items that serve and don't serve your family. Rule of thumb, if it's been sitting there over a year and hasn't moved, it's time to set up a garage sale and get rid of that junk. You don't need it. It's just a waste of space, and no, you're not saving it for a rainy day. Trust me. So go ahead, go through your garage, get out the various items that you haven't used in a while, organize a garage sale, make it a family event, make a little cash, and go ahead and take that money and enjoy a road trip or something nice for the family. Now that you're in summer and they're likely not to be needed, if your home is hooked up with various generators and backup systems, now's the time to go through all of those, do any sort of repairs and maintenance on those so that they're in top working order for the seasons to come. Moving right along, we're going to get into our fall checklist. Fall around here in Spokane, the temperature goes from the warm 80-degree summer months and it'll quickly dive down into sometimes the freezing temperatures. It's not uncommon to have snow during our fall season and early into it. It just depends and you never know. So you want to make sure you get to these items nice and early so that you're not caught off guard. First thing, again, let's make sure we replace those various air filter systems. You're going to want to make sure you have a whole new set of filters in there so that you're blowing nice, clean, fresh air, especially as your family starts to hunker down a little bit more than you're used to from the summer months. Fall around here is going to have a lot of leaf and foliage fall to the ground, and it's also going to be pretty wet at times. You're going to want to make sure that you go over all your rain gutters again, clear them out of any debris so they don't get clogged, and all your water mitigations are working top notch. Like I said, water's the enemy here. I said it once, I'm saying it again. You need to make sure you're doing your due diligence to keep your house nice and dry. After you throw all that gunk into the yard, go ahead and let's rake it up. Likely, even if you don't own trees yourself, you're going to end up with leaves in your yard. Wind's blowing, the leaves are flying everywhere. So let's just go ahead and start getting the first of those picked up and put in trash bags and hauled off to the dump. Now's the time to go ahead and winterize your lawnmower. Just go ahead and let's get the fuel out of there and let's get it nice and packed away in our garage somewhere. Fall, it's going to start getting colder. Your heating systems are going to be turning on. You're going to want to make sure you go throughout your home, check the various smoke detectors and alarms. Fall time's a great time for cooking, baking, family gatherings, and like I said, your heating systems. These are all fire hazards and you're not going to want to be the one that doesn't have working alarms when the time comes. Let's go ahead and check all of our window seals and our door seals. We're going to want to make sure all that weather specking is up to standards. The one maintenance item that I obviously forgot that I mentioned earlier, now is the time to go through your sprinkler system, get that thing drained and blown out so that you don't have an episode like somebody you know. Now that you know where all those attic entry points are, fall time is a good time to go ahead and add extra insulation if needed. And speaking of, here's a pro tip for you. When you're in the winter months, if you look outside and you see all of your neighbors have their roofs completely covered with snow, and you look at your roof and there's a big bald spot where the snow is clearly not accumulating, you may have a hot spot on your roof. That is a massive energy drain and could require either better insulation or some sort of system in there so that you're not leaking too much heat from your home. You're going to want to go ahead and start winterizing your yard, so let's go ahead and trim up all of those bushes and hedges there. Before you start locking it down for the season and spending a lot of time at home, let's go ahead and pull out that fridge, clean under it and behind it, and get all of that dust that's probably came in there from the kids going in and outside all summer long, and so that you have a nice healthy space for everyone. Now that all of your foliage is probably dying off, go ahead and go through all your garden beds and remove the dead plants. Now is a great time that you can actually see the exposed branches on your trees outside, and before it gets too cold in the winter, let's go ahead and do some tree maintenance by trimming back some of those problem branches, things of that nature. Now is a great time to go ahead and check the caulking around all of your bathrooms and make sure that all of it is nice and water sealed so they don't sit on slow leaks all winter long. Fall time in Spokane means the beginning of the holiday season, which usually means a lot of family gatherings, which usually means a lot of family meals. You're going to want to make sure to go ahead and get into that dishwasher right there with all of those plates and dishes that you're going to have, and you want to clean and sanitize that thing and make sure it is spick, span, and ready to go. If you got a fireplace, fall time is an excellent time to go ahead and start chopping that wood. It's a great workout, and the nice cool weather actually makes it very enjoyable and therapeutic for a lot of us. So go ahead and let's start getting your wood pile started. Just be sure that you cover it and protect it from the weather. More about that fire safety. If you have any fire extinguishers in the home, now is a good time to make sure that you check and make sure they're in working order. Once you got that yard finally all tidied up and winterized and ready to go. If I could say the word, I'd tell you, winterized and ready to go, you're going to want to go ahead and clean and lubricate all of those garden tools and go ahead and get those stored away in your shed or in your garage so that they're ready for you next spring. After you get all that put away, let's go ahead and start pulling out all of your winter shovels, maybe your snow blower, things that you're going to need access to make sure that your driveway and your sidewalks are clear of snow. Okay, so the last season is finally upon us. Winter is here, and man, oh man, are you going to be in for it, especially if you come from one of our southern state cousins and you're used to 24/7 warm weather. I'm looking at you, California. So if you come up here and you are not ready to sit tight for the winter season, get yourself a winter hobby stat that will help you cope with the winter months and really truly enjoy and thrive through our nice, beautiful, picturesque white winter season. Just like the beginning of all of our seasons, one of the first things that we want to do is, guess what? You guessed it, replace those heater filters. You want to make sure that every single season, all 4 of them, right in the beginning, that you have fresh filters in your systems so that you have nice, clean, filtered air going throughout your home. Now that we're going to be spending a lot of time indoors, let's go ahead and get that range and that range hood all nice and clean and ready for those family gatherings. But before you get all those guests in your home, it's a great idea right now to go ahead throughout your home and get all those baseboards nice and clean there before all that foot traffic comes in. Be sure to go ahead and check your refrigerator if it has one of those water systems in it, and let's go ahead and replace those filters so that we have nice, clean, filtered water running through our fridge. Let's go ahead and make sure that we order a lot of ice mitigation things that you'll need from the typical hardware store. I'm talking, ice remover, de-icer, rock salt, and or gravel. This is going to help you greatly in those months where the ice starts to build up, because what happens here in Spokane is you'll get these periods in the early winters where things tend to freeze and then they thaw, then they freeze and they thaw, which gets this compact ice accumulation. This is due to the variable temperature as we kind of ease into the permanent cold winter months. So that compact ice can be problematic, especially on your walkways or on your driveway if you don't take care of it. This stuff is usually pretty cheap and pretty good to go. I like to keep a bag in the truck of my vehicle in case I get stuck somewhere so that I can toss some of it on the ground so that my wheels can get traction. Now's a good time while you're indoors and kind of just milling about to go ahead into your laundry room and check your washer lines for any sort of leaks or any sort of repairs that may be needed. This is just one of those things that you just want to get eyes on at least once a year to make sure it's in good working order. And since you have water lines on your mind, go ahead and go through all the various water lines that are exposed in your home. If you need be, let's get those insulated. And the same thing with those outdoor hose bibs. You don't want them freezing or cracking on you and creating a problem next spring. Now that you're basically only running your heating system with no AC elements, now is a great time to go ahead and reverse the direction of those fan blades. Make sure you clean them off, wipe them off beforehand so that they're blowing air up into your home and circulating it so that everything's working very efficiently for you. Now's the time to go ahead and pull out those generators that you have all prepped and ready to go. You want to make sure they're in a spot, if they don't have a dedicated area unto themselves, that is accessible, for in case that you have a power outage or something of that nature. More various indoor maintenance now is a good time to go ahead and clean off those bookshelves and all those books that sat there all year. Now's the time to actually go outside and check for those hot spots on your roof that we were just talking about. It is always, always, always a good idea to have a winter survival bag packed and ready to go in case something happens. You want this in your vehicle in case you get stranded somewhere. When it's cold and when it's dark and your vehicle breaks down, the last thing that you want is to get cold. So make sure that you have nice warm items, maybe one of those safety blankets that's made out of metallic material that can keep you nice and warm for when help arrives. If you got hardwood floors, now is a good time to maybe do some sort of revitalizer to the top layer. My God, I'm full of wonderful quips tonight. It's a good time to go ahead and revitalize those woods so that the top layer is nice and good and ready for the next year ahead. Now, I don't know about you, but in my house, you're not allowed to decorate for Christmas until after my birthday, which is at the end of November. So right when that winter months start to kick off, it's a great opportunity. Go ahead and pull out those winter decorations and get them ready to go. Okay, so those are our seasonal maintenance checklist items. I know it's a lot. We're going to have everything in the description below. So go ahead and get that over somewhere where you can print it out so that you can have it with you. And I got a very amazing pro tip for you. Go ahead and get yourself a logbook or some sort of calendar and go ahead and write the various maintenance items within it throughout the year so it's nice and spread out, easy to do, and only a couple things at a time so that you just knock this out without even thinking about it. Okay, so I have a bonus pro tip for you. Now, if you have issues within your home, especially those of you with small children, what I often find is that the family always feels like they're constantly sick with everyone always kind of infecting each other. You need to invest in brass doorknobs or copper doorknobs. This is because the metal ions bind to the pathogens, bacteria, and viruses themselves, destroying them within about 15 minutes. And in fact, 99.9% of bacteria is completely destroyed off of the doorknob within 2 hours. So it's a great way to help keep your home more germ controlled. But you got to remember, they cannot be laminated or lacquered in any sort of way. It needs to be the raw exposed material itself, which, by the way, good news, it's easy to find these products at basically any hardware store. So go ahead and get yourself a few packs of those, get those installed at your home, and enjoy the benefits right away. Next, for you homeowners out there, I want to get you some resources in case you get yourself into a little bit trouble and you need some help. The Washington State Housing Finance Commission wants you to know that we're here to help, and I'm going to go ahead and list all these resources down below, so don't worry. Housing counseling is available to Washington State residents, and you can go ahead and call the Washington Homeownership Hotline. Phone number that is 1-877-894-HOME. Some additional resources for you that I'm going to have available down below are the Washington Homeownership Assistance Fund, or HAF, that provides individual funds to support people who are affected by the pandemic. This assistance can be up to $60,000 per household. The Washington Foreclosure Prevention Guide. This is a great resource in case you get behind on your payments and you want to know all about the foreclosure process. I'm also going to link for you the HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Approved Housing Counselors. These HUD approved counselors are there to help you in case you're finding yourself having a little bit of trouble making your payments. They're also for you elderly people out there if you're looking into some sort of reverse mortgage information. All right, so that's what I have for you homeowners out there. This is our seasonal checklist, various things that you need to know, and resources in case you need a little help. These is going to get you all the basics that make sure that you are a great homeowner that takes care of their number one asset in their life. If you like what you saw today, please go ahead and give us a sub below. It really helps us out. I just want you guys to know that we get calls, texts, emails, and messages every single day from people just like you who are looking to buy or sell their home. So be sure to reach out, give us a call. One of my team members will get that inquiry for you, and we'll make sure that we take care of you A to Z. I appreciate it so much. And until next time, guys, have a good one. Oh, you think I forgot about that little bonus information for you about those pink bathrooms that you see all over town? Well, look no more. What that is an influence by one of our former first ladies, Mammy Eisenhower. She loved pink so much that she decorated everything in various shades of pink. Apparently the trend caught on in about the 1910s and 1930s, which is when a lot of the homes around the Spokane area were built. The trends totally caught on, and a lot of the builders at the time built those bathrooms into the homes, and you're still seeing the remnants of those today. So if you're ever wondering what those bright pink bathrooms are all about, you can thank our former First Lady, Mrs. Eisenhower, for that. Make sure you check out any of these videos floating around. And honestly, guys, I appreciate ya so much.